Hello guys, Shopify here. So we're gonna go over in detailed using the Tilemap system in Godot 4. So we're gonna cover stuff as setting up the tilemap, creating a tile set, and setting physics for collisions. Also we're gonna set AutoTiling up, and then we're gonna use navigation layers for AI to walk around. And we're also gonna set tile animations and changing the tile using custom data. So let's get into it. I'm going to include timestamps in the description, and please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Thank you. Alright guys, so here we have a blank window. Let's first explain what's going on here. So I have a navigation character with a nav agent on, and this just walks around the scene based on where I click with the mouse. And I have a player to walk around the scene using the arrow keys. Let's first add the tilemap. So new tilemap. Move it up here. So with the tilemap, you have a few properties. First, you have the tile set that you'll add the textures to. Then the cell quadrant, that's for rendering. Like by default, it's at 16. So the higher it is, the less draw calls, but here's a balancing act you have to figure out. And collision animatable, that's just for or if your tilemap moves around, so it changes it to a kinematic body object. And then collision visibility mode and navigation visibility mode, those are for debugging. Alright guys, this is the end of the video, but with the power editing, I want to include this in the beginning. So I forgot to mention layers. So before in Godot 3, if you want to have like background and foreground stuff, you would normally use an extra tile map or multiples for background and foreground. But now you could just add a layer. So now I could call this the main layer, for example. That's where the player walks, and then you could add another one. This could be a background. What we can do now is could go to the tilemap here, could modulate it to be a bit darker, and we could paint with a darker color here. So first right here you have to select the background from here. So this is the background that I'm painting. So we're only seeing that because it's darker. I set it to be darker. So if you look here, see foreground. So whatever you have selected is gonna be what's highlighted. And then if you run this again, we need to set the Z layer to be, so background would be Z index -1. There you go. And run it. I know that's going on in the background, but you're only seeing part of it. Alright, moving on. Let's add a tile set. And you click on it. So first we add a image. So let's use this generic tile set. But first, let's change something else. So back on the tilemap, I want to set this to 32 by 32. So that's the size of the tile sheet, the grid. So let's drag this in, and it attempts to auto create it for you. Do you want to auto create the style atlas? Yes. And now we can go over to setup. So here in the setup, you could set the ID for this object, this texture. You could give it a name if you want, and that's just a representation of the texture. You can set the margin. If you move arrows around, you could see what happened. And then let's fill that back out. And the separation, and also the texture regions here again. It's the same thing here. So each region is just the cell. Well, and the tilemap is the cell size, and the region is the texture region size. And use textures on. So for example, if I add another one here, let's add this sheep, because I'm gonna use it too. Yes, oh, not that one. This one. So let's add this one here. Yes, they're all 32 as well. Now you could check this tab here. This tab is for editing the tile set, that's the resource, and this is for messing with the tilemap. So here you could select whatever tile you want, you could place them around, etc., etc. So you have different painting tools you can use. First, you could select here, just do the regular paint one at a time. Then you have drag and drop. Drag line to paint a low line. Then you could draw a box, or you could stamp a bunch. So what this does is try to create the closest rectangular shape it can find with a fill tool. For example, if I put a single one right here, then use the fill tool, you try to fill that whole section right there. Pretty cool. So patterns now. Patterns are right here. Patterns is like, for example, let's drag this whole thing here and paste it right. Let's go back to single. Paste that there. If I want to use that again somewhere, I could go back to patterns and then select this whole section here with the select tool and then drag it over here, and there you go, stamp a pattern in here. So now I could paint with the pattern anytime I want to use it. So I could go back to paint now, and I have this pattern selected. Let's go back here, select, there you go. So now I'm painting with that one pattern. So I could use that for like the trees and stuff like that you have, or buildings that are pieces of stuff that you have in different tile sheet pieces. You know what I mean. So in order to add physics, let's delete these for now. In order to add physics, we need to go back to the tile set, then come over to here and add a physics layer. So add element under the physics layer tab, and we are just using this by default. So now that you do that, you could come to here, select paint, then select property from the property editor, then we select that layer. And now we could paint this shape on each cell. So let's just go like that. There you go. So all of these tiles are now collidable. And if you wanted to add a different shape, you could always come in and edit it. Maybe you have a little corner that's curved like that. Could like put it like that. And maybe the same thing here again, but you would have to rotate it around. You get it? But if you want to reset the default, you can click there and reset it. If you want to clear something, you could click clear and then paint the clear on there. So get rid of it, because you can't right click on here in here. This is dragging around. Right, and that's for creating physics. Okay, so now how to set up AutoTile. First, you need to go to TerrainSets under the Tilemap again, the Tileset resource. And add TerrainSet, set it to matching corners and sides. And then we add an element, and we could call it AutoTile. And let's give it a color. Do red, since that was Godot 3 originally. That was a very basic back then. So what we do now is we come back to the Tileset tab down here. We go to paint. We select the terrains property, then select the TerrainSet 0 that we created, and AutoTile. So now what we do is, since this middle one will be the center, we could just fill all of these in. Could select all of these first, by the way, just as an example, and then we fill the edges of this one up, and that's it. So now we have an AutoTile. Let's do a quick save. We could go back to the Tilemap now, and we could set it to be terrains, AutoTile, and we have the centerpiece selected. And now you could just drag wherever you want to AutoTile, or select whichever piece you want. And that's it for AutoTiling. Okay guys, now for navigation layers. First we have this character here, so let's clear this again. So right click, drag, delete. We're gonna use the second tile here for the navigation. So first let's quickly create some collisions again. So let's go back to Tileset. I'm just gonna use this one tile. So let's go here, select physics layer, just this one. And we're gonna use all of these for navigation. So now we go over here, same spot again, Tileset, create a navigation layer. That's all you need. So we're using layer 1. And then we set here on the paint in the Tileset, go to navigation layer, same as before. You could paint this as a navigation. Now, whenever you use a nav agent, you could set it to the tile map and it will automatically get the tile position and follow it. So let's quickly create a scene. Oh, I forgot to mention, this is for random. So if you have multiple tiles selected and you're placing tiles, it randomly selects one from the thing, that dice there. So let me just do this real quick. Alright, and then we select a nav layer. And then just place it around here. There you go. Let's put make sure the player is right there. The NPC, I mean. Let's re-enable him. Don't know why I had him disabled. So in my nav agent, I have a reference to the tile map. Did I just do? Sorry about that. So first, let me change add that unique resource name back to the tile map so the agent could find it easily. Okay, add the player, the NPC all the way down here. So now, on the nav agent, let's go in it. So nav agent, that's set navigation map, and we set it to be the map, tile map that we got. And all of this just checks to get the mouse position, set the target location on the agent. Not really a tutorial on this, but basically check the distance to target if it's 2 pixels away. If it's greater than 2 pixels away, then we get the next location on the agent, minus position, so that gets the direction to go. Then we set the velocity to be the direction times speed, then call move and slide, and velocity equals 0 if the signal navigation reached is called on the nav agent. So I could run this right now and it should work in theory. If I click right here, there you go. Gonna walk around, get to that point. Go back over here. So you could tell you just staying within the navigation areas. I could click this one right here, and I could move my character around too. Alright, that's it for navigation. Alright, so now to animate tiles, what you have to do is go back to the select on the tile map. Now we need to first figure out what tiles we're gonna be using. So first I'm gonna use these 3 tiles here. So let's select this one. But first we have to delete these tiles because it's the way the animation works, it's horizontal, so it just gets the next tiles beside it. So what I have to do is delete these. So delete one. Alright, so now we select this tile. So go to select this tile, then animation tab here. Then we have to set how many columns the animation is, and it's 3. So let's go 3. And then under the frames, we just click this add element 2 times. So it will add those 2 frames. So boom, then boom again. So those are the animations for that one tile. So now if we go to the tile map, and we select this one, if you notice those 2 get highlighted as well. Now we could add water to the scene, and you could play around with the speed and all that stuff. So if you go back here, the Tileset select, could set the speed to be maybe times 5. It would update really fast, or you could change the duration of each frame if you want to. So yeah, that's pretty much that. Now let me fill this out. I'm gonna add a custom data. So that's gonna be your next thing. Alright, so for custom data, same thing again, go to Tileset, and we're gonna be painting again. So we scroll down, you have custom data layers. So we add We could name this, maybe let's name it water. So we're gonna change the water tile whenever the player walks over it. So we set this as a boolean. Let's go to bool. And now on the paint layer, we select custom data, and that's water. And we select this one here. Click that, make it be on. And now this animation will be a water tile. So in my code now, let's save that before we do anything else. I have it set up so I changed the, where is it? Let me add the tilemap. So what I do is I say player position, I floor it, the player global position, then divide it by 32. That's to get the grid coordinates. And then I get the data from the current tile at that cell position, player cell position. And we say if we have data, meaning the cell is not null, like if you walk out of the map, and the data, custom data, is equal to water, if it's true, then we set the cell to be new vector 2y. I don't think you need to use this, but it's there by default, to whatever the tile is at this position on the tile set. So let's look what 06 is. So go back to the tile map. On the tile set here, go to select, and 06 should be, I think, one of these here. Oh, this one. So it's gonna change to this tile. So let's run it again. And now I could just walk around and those tiles should change. But it's not changing into what I expected. So let's see what's wrong here. Okay guys, so the issue was I had the source ID as 1. It was 1 originally when I was like rehearsing, but for some reason it changed to 2 here. So if we go back to the tile map, the source ID is now 2, and if I change it, it messes up stuff. So I'm gonna leave it as 2, and if we test it now, everything should work fine. If I walk around and then you see that we're walking and we're changing that tile with custom data, because we know that that tile is a water tile, and we can do stuff with that. I'm not sure what you would do with it, but it's there. Alright guys, so thanks for watching, and like and subscribe, leave a comment below if you have any questions, and have a good one.